everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Best and Worst. And this is the show where we like to take one of our favorite talents and we talk about what we think are their best and worst films. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Ryan is here.
Hey Rachel, it's great to be back with you once again. And for this week's best and worst, we're tackling Jessica Chastain, figuratively, not literally, because she's got a new movie coming out, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, a movie that I'm looking forward to. And Rachel, being very lucky, you've actually seen it.
Yeah, you can check out my review. I'll be writing it up pretty much after we finish recording this, and it'll be I will be up by Monday. So you'll hopefully already read my review, which was very, very different than I was expecting, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was very I just wasn't expecting it to be so positive about her character, because a lot of times sort of religious characters in Hollywood are portrayed in very negative lights, especially somebody that has some kind of scandal attached to her. And so the way it was portrayed was very surprising to me, and I really thought she did a great job, and she can sing. I had no idea Jessica Chastain was like a singer.
Yeah, wait till she can dance; she'll be a triple threat.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, trying to choose my best for Jessica is was just super hard because I was going in there thinking, oh, I've got my best in the bag, and then I remembered there was one where it's like, oh, she was awesome. Oh, it's like if I could have two bests for her, I certainly would, but I gotta have one. So
Yeah.
sacrifices must be made.
So what was your best of Jessica Chastain?
So my best, and I'll reveal what would have been my best. My would have been best was Zero Dark 30, where she played Maya and she was the spearhead of that. However, I realized that she was in Interstellar, and I love that movie to pieces. I actually have an entire review on my channel talking about it, and I recognize that this is not for everybody. I do understand that it is 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it can be very preachy about about humanity and how bad we are sometimes. But when this movie hits, oh, it hits different. It really does. The scene where Matt McConaughey is watching like the 10 years of life that has passed. Oh wow, it's such a difficult scene to watch. And really why this movie works is the relationship between Matthew McConaughey and Murph, who the adult version is played by Jessica Chastain, and she is awesome in the movie. And some of the lines that she gives are just genuinely heartbreaking because it feels like Matthew McConaughey abandoned them when in reality, like he's off doing a complicated space mission here. You got to give him some time. And it's so the relationship between the two is handled so incredibly well that any flaws with the movie I think are just canceled out. And so I think it's a coin toss between Zero Dark 30 and Interstellar. However, if I'm like forced at gunpoint and chosen like to choose one or the other, I have to go with Interstellar. She's brilliant in that.
Yeah, I do think that the relation between Murphy and her dad is the core thing that makes this movie work. The emotion between the two of them and their relationship. And I actually kind of liked the fact that the ending had a little bit of sort of whimsy to it. It was a little bit of creativity, but I
It,
understand that that's divisive. But yeah, I agree. I thought she was really good in the film. It's definitely overlong, and sci-fi is not my favorite, but I think that relationship is what made it work.
yeah, Nolan basically took all the money he made from Inception and made his 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like
Yeah.
that's my theory at least. And this movie's definitely not for everybody, but like I said, when this movie hits, I mean, it's some of Nolan's very best work.
Yeah. So my best from Jessica Chastain, I did really like The Eyes of Tammy Faye, but I think my favorite of any movie that she's been in is The Tree of Life. This is really Terrence Malick's magnum opus, and she only has a couple of lines, but she's in a lot of the movie, and she's sort of the spiritual force kind of behind the movie. It's the love of her as a mother to these boys, and you have Sean Penn's character kind of looking back at his childhood, and the shining light is his mother, and she just has to portray this just almost perfect mother. This just, and I think that so often we do that with our mothers. You know, we look back and we see them with kind of rosy hue to them because they cared for us and they took care of us, and we love our mothers, of course. And you see that here, and I mean, she's literally kind of welcoming uh, him and us as audiences into heaven. I mean, she's just a beautiful, angelic human being, and her love is powerful. And I mean, Emmanuel Lubezki, incredible cinematography. It's Terrence Malick's best movie since Days of Heaven, and he is a filmmaker that that a lot of people don't like, but this movie really feels like a prayer to me. It's so hopeful and beautiful. And you have Brad Pitt's character, who is the more difficult, the more maybe even abusive of the parents, unloving, unkind. So Jessica Chastain's character is a real contrast to his character. And it's just a beautiful, hopeful, lovely movie. And it's one that one of my favorite. If you're talking about art house films, Tree of Life is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've actually never seen this. However, I know that this was a movie that Malik was like grinding and grinding and grinding to try and get off the ground. And then he finally did it. And I know that this movie is like super weird and challenging, but yet was a box office success and nearly won Best Picture. So it's
Mm.
like Malik got the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
It was
it's
popular. It
really
was
good.
popular and loved by the
Mhm.
critics.
Yeah, it's really, really great. That's why. So, what is your worst of Jessica Chastain?
So my worst, and again, like the case with my most of my worst, is that this actress is trying, but the rest of the movie around her is just not great. It's Dark Phoenix. Now, I'm fully aware of the hurdles this movie had to clear just to be made with the whole Disney acquiring Fox thing and the X-Men Fox thing just kind of running out of steam. Should have ended with Logan, by the way. But I don't hate this movie, but Jessica is just she's trying, but her character is just why is she even here? Like, why does she need to be the devil's advocate for Dr. Jean Grey when she has plenty of motivation to turn the Phoenix on? And it feels like window dressing, and she's like
Mhm.
this entire movie feels like window dressing. And like I said, I don't hate it. Like I get the hate for it, but I'm not the type of person who is like, oh, that's the worst superhero movie ever. When Spawn and Batman and Robin also exists in this universe, but I just think she's just kind of there.
I actually think she's kind of bad in it, actually. I don't think that I mean, I'm sure she was trying, doing her best, but I think she's kind of wooden and flat in the role. And I actually think her character kind of hurts the movie. I mean, you have some emotion between Jean and some of their characters, and then you get whenever the Jessica Chastain character comes in, it's just dead, very very flat in my opinion. So if I was gonna pick this, but you had picked it, there are some decent set pieces, and when you have McAvoy and Fassbender, it's always pretty good. I think it's weird what they do with kind of with McAvoy's with Xavier in this movie, like making him kind of chauvinist. Like it's weird, weird flex, but whatever. It's certainly not as bad as Wolverine Origins, but it's in my opinion. So it's a good pick. My pick for worst of Jessica Chastain, though, is definitely worse than that. It's The Huntsman: Winter's War,
Oh, good lord.
and this movie is terrible.
I actually quite enjoyed the first Snow White and the Huntsman. I like the style of it. I like Charlize Theron as like the super deranged like queen going against Kristen Stewart as the Snow White. And
Yeah.
having Chris Hemsworth in most movies is usually a pretty good formula, but there was no saving this.
Yeah. When we do a best and worst of Emily Blunt, look out. because I think I'm going to see this again because she is terrible in this. Is like this kind of uh, bad version of Elsa kind of a thing. She's real bad.
I heard one review call her Diet Elsa or
Yeah,
Diet the new Coke of
yeah,
Elsa.
yeah. It's really bad, and Chris Hemsworth is fine in it. Charlie Stone is way over the top in this one, and this movie's just terrible in my opinion. So yeah, that's my worst pick.
Yeah, the Huntsman
So
Winter's War. It is hard work.
yeah, it's hard work. That's right. Well, let us know what you would pick for your best and worst of Jessica Chastain, and let us know if you get to see the Eyes of Tammy Faye, what you think. Put a link down to my review in the description. But Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. Then there's, of course, my YouTube channel, which is just called RyanCam. I uploaded my first reaction to the Ghibli film from Up on Poppy Hill, so be sure to check that out. Monday was another Twilight Zone vlog. Wednesday is going to be up next in my Villeneuve series. I'm going to be teaming up with Jacob Martin to cover Prisoners, which, I mean, that movie's even more brutal the second time around. And then Friday, I'll be covering the new release, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, as well as Crime Macho, which is an HBO Max exclusive. However, it is getting a theater release, so I hope to see it in theaters. Then Sunday, I'll be redoing a video that I wanted to do, but just the quality was not there. Now I feel like I'm ready to cover The Big Lebowski and talk about how, even though it's a great comedy and one of the greatest comedies of all time, it's still better than you remember, and I'll outline why that is. So if you haven't checked me out, please do.
Yeah, and make sure you all check out our hidden gems this week. We are talking all about Peacock, so that's really fun. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So take a look over there. You can see all of my TIFF posts, my daily logs over on my blog. Take a look at that. I would really appreciate it. And also, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. We also have our Patreon group and merch store. Take a look at that. All that information is in the description. So thanks so much, everybody. If you have any suggestions for who we do for next best and worst, let us know. And thanks so much. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.